Hello. Oh, I need to add a title. Nah, we'll just go live. There we go. Something like that. I think that's working. I think that's good. Let's figure this out here. Here is the joy of technology. That's what's happening. Okay, so there's this here. How do I hit share on this? Share. Ooh, not toga, yoga. You'd think it would know, hey? Okay, perfect. I don't know. We're trying. I've got, I scheduled it for 8. And at 8:01, I was trying to start it. And I missed it, I guess, and it got mad at me. And just closed it all. My bad for being late. But that's okay. So if you're just finding me, if you're joining me, welcome to yoga class this morning. Roll out your mat. Find your space you need to be in. Let it be good. Good morning, good morning. Yes, I call it real person yoga because I'm a real person who used to be late all the time. I work very hard to not be late anymore, but sometimes it's just hard. Sometimes there's a few too many things that I can't plan for or I don't plan for. Is that Donna? Good morning, Donna. Did you find me? Thank you. So good to hear from you. Looking forward to our chats later. Looking forward to a bunch of things. Got a good week coming on. Hope you guys have a good week too. It's so funny because now with phase 2 being a little more underway, I'm getting to see some more people. So I've got a couple picnics this week, outdoor dinner activities. Got a couple of dog park adventures. With some friends. So yeah, just really kind of exciting stuff going on, which I'm really grateful for. So if you have something fun and exciting going on, share with me. I want to hear about it too. That's half the fun of these lives together. So if not, that's fine too. But starting to get into, our yoga class here now. So settle into your mat, whether you want to be seated or laying down, your choice. Starting to find that position that you can just start to sense in and feel the body. I also want to mention yesterday was International Yoga Day, so kudos to anyone who squeezed some yoga in yesterday. Today we'll just party and celebrate. We'll just keep the free yoga going because I think that's the vibe of International Yoga Day. So we'll just celebrate because we've got free yoga happening right now, right here. Me and you together. It's great. Beautiful. So let's take a moment, be a little less wild and crazy and excited. Let's start to notice into the body. My dog is crawling under the table. It's very adorable. You got it? You comfy? Good. How's your body feeling today? You got any tightness? Were you lazy over the weekend? Got a little stiffness? Were you really active over the weekend? Got some sore spots? Overworked a few areas maybe? Taking just a few moments, noticing into that, letting it feel as it feels, not judging it for being good or bad, but just simply seeing it as it is, letting it just simply be. Maybe you roll those shoulders back and down. Maybe take that nice inhale breath, breathing in a little bit bigger, letting it out, maybe you sigh it out, connecting in, taking that big breath, one more nice big inhale, and then let it go. So good. And continue starting to work with that breath, breathing a little more into the abdomen, into the diaphragm, starting to engage some of that big belly breathing, that Buddha breath, the diaphragmatic breath, whichever word you want to use for it. It's just a big breath. big and wonderful. Beautiful. As you continue to take a couple of breaths, maybe set an intention for a time together. And just a little purpose to try to keep in mind during class. A little intent for our time together. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. It can be just something really simple. A word, a couple of words, a short phrase. Maybe there's a little mantra or life verse you're applying. You can bring that right into your practice as well. Let's seal it in with another nice big breath. Breathing in. Exhale, letting it go. Starting to wake up the body, getting a little bit more movement in. I'm noticing I'm incredibly fidgety today. I've been moving this whole time. It's going to be a hard class for me, it looks like. Because these Yin Yang classes are about embracing a little stillness, trying to settle into the mind, letting the mind be still or quiet, not rushing, which I very much feel I am this morning. So if that's you too, that's okay. We're not alone. We can be in this together. We can struggle through those holds and try not to fidget through them. Ooh, who else do I got here? Doreen, good morning. You found my videos. Sorry, it is not the video you probably subscribed to. I don't know technology. I'm trying. It's an interesting thing. All right. So good. What time are we at here? Okay, we're good. Let's bring those arms up overhead. Let's take that nice good morning stretch. Just starting to reach up. Adding a little length to the spine, to the rib cage. Reaching up nice and tall. If you're lying down, maybe you kick your feet long and pointing through the toes. Exhale. Let the arms fall. Relaxing down. Let's take one more of those nice good morning stretches. Reaching up. So nice and tall. Maybe flip the wrists. Adding that extra bit of rotation through the shoulders. I really struggle with interlacing the hands and then flipping them. But if I hold hand over hand, then I have much more success. So maybe that's a modification that works good for you too. Just a nice good morning stretch. So good. Then exhale. If you're lying down, you can start to hug the knees into the chest. Even seated, let's hug knees in towards the chest. That'll just help us find some length through the spine. There's different things in different positions. So in that laying down position, you're getting into that low back. And seated, we're getting a little bit more into the shoulders. Roll those shoulders back and down. Lift through the heart. And still take that little rock from side to side. Gives those glutes a little massage. Whereas if you're laying down, gives that low back a nice little massage. Your choice there. And then let's make our way up to seated. Your choice, seated on a block for that extra little bit of height, or even on a stool is a great option. Doing cross-legged isn't necessarily easy for everyone or really anyone. But it's a nice challenge that sometimes we like to embrace. So if you prefer to have your legs extended long, that's a great option. Even extended long with a little bit of bend into your knees, that's a great option. Or just one leg out, one knee in. Just be mindful to switch at some point to let it feel good. So I'm going to go for the full cross. I mean, if you've got like full lotus in your practice, have at her. My husband somehow does. Just bends his legs up, away he goes. Beautiful. I'm feeling like I'm still kind of dark. I'm wearing a black shirt, so that doesn't necessarily help. And I've already adjusted the lighting, otherwise you guys wouldn't see me at all. Look like I'm doing yoga in the dark. Okay, sorry, adjusting everything. It's a Monday morning. It's acting like a Monday. We'll have to shake this off. Let's take a nice inhale breath. Let's reach those arms up. Yeah, if you want to turn that light on, thank you. That would be great. I had it on and then I turned it off, then I opened the door. There. Now I have every light on that I think I would need. So it's the best I can make it. Let's reach those arms up. Nice inhale breath. Exhale, pull the hands down towards center. Take a nice little inhale, reach it up. Getting nice and tall. Take that exhale, pull the hands down. Just starting to warm up through the arms and the shoulders. We don't ever want to forget them. We do lots of legs and hips naturally in yoga. Lots of the poses are built for that. But having strength in your arms and having mobility through your spine, super important. So that's why I always take a number of these. I don't just do 1 or 2. I try to always do like between 5 and 10. First thing here, maybe they really build some heat up for you guys, or maybe you find them easy. The goal is for these to become easier and easier, but I even still feel a little warmth building up. So you're not alone there. Let's take one more, reaching up nice and tall. Let's exhale, pull the hands down, nice straight back. So if you're in that little bow, roll those shoulders back and down and get nice and tall. Let's start out with just a nice little twist. Starting to twist towards the left, or really either direction, doesn't really matter. Now that I'm back in the studio, I'm cueing lefts and rights a little more to keep everyone going the same direction. But on these home practices, it really doesn't matter. You can just pick a side and twist that way. My hands are still at heart center. I'm still trying to use my abdominals and my shoulders to twist, maybe even into your hips. And so whatever direction you're twisting in, see if you can press the legs down, activating into the hips a little more, and then roll that back shoulder a little farther back, push the front shoulder a little farther forward. See how deep you can really make your twist simply just by adding some rotation and being intentional about how you're positioning the body. This is a great example for why alignment is so important. Let's drop those hands down. Inhale, get a little taller first, and then if you want to start to press into your hands to twist a little deeper, you can continue to press and do so. Letting it feel good. Excellent. Maybe take that inhale and get a little taller. Exhale. Maybe find a little more depth, or you just relax. That's nice and slowly, so don't rush this. Go like inch by inch. Let's start to untwist. When we get deep into this twist and hold it for a little longer, we just gotta be real gentle coming on out. Take an inhale breath, get nice and tall. Exhale, come back towards neutral. Bring the hands to heart center. Maybe press into the hands a little bit and then start to activate those arms, squeezing those shoulder blades back ever so slightly. Feels so good. Let's twist to the other direction now, towards the right. Starting to feel that spin, that rotation. Maybe when you're using your muscles to simply just twist you around, you might not go very far at all. That's totally normal. Keep in mind, I'm now doing yoga 7, 8, between 9 and 12 times a week, depending on what's going on. So it's a fun little thing. Really twisting, pressing into those legs here. Press the legs down. Kind of imagine like locking the knees in place, and see if with those hips you can add that little more spin, pressing one hip back, pressing one hip forward, doing the same thing with the shoulders, still finding all of that length. And drop those hands down. Take an inhale breath, get nice and tall. Exhale, maybe you deepen, or maybe you just simply relax. Totally your choice. You don't have to add more depth on if you don't want to. But maybe that twist feels really good, getting into some of those sweet spots. Look, the sun came out and now I'm glowing. How delightful. And taking that nice inhale breath, maybe you add some more length to your spine. Exhale, maybe you twist just a little deeper. Maybe it's simply just looking over that back shoulder. Now the neck is twisting as well. Ooh, the cactus bloomed. It had a little flower on Friday. Now I'm looking at it, we got a full, big orange flower. That's beautiful. One more nice big inhale. And an exhale, starting very slowly, untwisting and thinking of it inch by inch. And coming back towards center. So good. Let's switch the feet. So if you had one leg extend the other leg. Go twist and stuff like that. Feel a little different if you have just one leg out. So that's why I always suggest the 2 legs out or 2 legs in. Let's take that nice inhale breath. Let's lift the arms up. Ooh, feel that rib cage. If you got that nice deep twist, maybe you start to be aware of the ribs a little bit more. Take that inhale, reach up a little taller. Exhale, pull the hands down to heart center. Take one more of those. Inhale, bring palms towards palms. On that exhale, bring palms facing away. We'll go out towards the side, just still getting into the shoulders, just a little bit of a different angle that we're working with. So that nice inhale to lift, exhale to drop it down. Inhales, lifting it up. Exhales down. Let's take one more. Come on, all the way up. Nice and together. You can come into steeple, interlacing the fingers, bringing your pointer finger, reaching up. Find that extra bit of length. Pull those floating ribs in. Pull that belly button in towards the spine, getting nice and strong through that core. Let's dip over towards the left. Reaching, your arms can even come down behind the head. If that's a little bit more gentle on the arms, as you're really reaching, you're getting into that side body. Maybe your shoulders are starting to get a little tired. That's totally normal here. Your choice to push through it and keep reaching, finding that edge. Or if you need that gentleness, just add the bend to the elbows. Totally acceptable as well. Or you can even lead with the elbow, lifting up through the top elbow to keep that integrity through that side bend. Let's come all the way back up. That was a chatty, longer side. Reaching up nice and tall as you get into the other side. Start to dip over towards the right. Reaching. Keep rolling that top shoulder open. Option to either bend the elbows or find that extra bit of length. It's kind of nice because you've got that extra hand for support to keep holding and pulling nice and tall and strong. One more little breath here. Exhale all the way back up. Bring the hands to heart center. Ooh, doesn't that feel good on the shoulders? Rolling the shoulders back and down. Maybe my shoulders are just sore or tired, fatigued already. But I felt that, so maybe you did too. Excellent. Taking a nice little inhale. And take a nice little exhale. So good. And let's start to come into our all fours position, our little tabletop. And do these every class because this is a great way to really get into the hips. And I know it can be really hard on people's knees. So that's why I always suggest you can use a little pillow, a folded blanket, or even folding your mat to help protect those knees. I know it's not the most comfortable if you've got sore knees, or you've got issues going on there. But it's also just a great way to build a little strength, a little resiliency as well. So if you need to modify, you absolutely can. You can try most of these on your back, but you really kind of lose out on the strength option of that. So let's take that inhale breath, start to look up, drop the belly down, extend that head nice and long, really actively press that belly button towards the ground. Take that exhale and stretch around through the spine. Pressing into those hands, getting up a little bit taller. So good. Come on back. Take that nice inhale breath. Exhale. Round it through. Getting one more or two more if you want to move a little faster than I do. So good. And make your way just into that nice flat tabletop. Notice that low back is still dropping down. Can you pull those low ribs in? And keeping that nice engagement. We'll keep things really easy here. We're just going to keep our hands planted and we'll just move the leg a little bit. I, for some reason, always start with the right leg, mostly because that's where the camera angle is at, and you can probably see the best if I start with this leg because it's closest. And so touching the toes down, let's just add a little movement in here. Just rocking back and forth. If that's really hard on the knee, you can move your right knee instead. But I kind of like to keep straight. That's my preference. Your choice. It's just about getting into the calf a little bit. My Achilles is still super tight, mostly because I haven't been doing those exercises. It's my fault. I get it. But here's my little opportunity to add a nice stretch in. And starting to activate that back line of the body. Beautiful. Let's come just into toes. Maybe roll right over toes. And starting to stretch into now the front side of the foot, of the ankle. Nice way to get into the feet without having to do the toe torture of sitting on your feet. Excellent. Yeah, all kinds of tightness in my ankles today. Beautiful. Let's roll and tuck the toes back under. Take a nice inhale breath, get nice and tall. Exhale, keep drawing that belly button in, engaging through the core. Let's start to float the foot up. So your choice, keeping it really low or working it up a little higher. Maybe keep rolling that right hip down. That'll add some extra strength, extra stabilizing required. Add a flex to the foot, so you're extending long through the heel. So even if the foot's a little bit farther down, it's still all about that nice line shooting out through the heel. So strong. Let's bring the foot up a little higher. Maybe find a little openness through the hip. Exhale, touch the toes down onto the ground. Inhale, bring the foot up. Exhale, lower it back down. We'll take one more of these. Pressing in, getting that leg nice and high. Exhale, lower down. This is actually a little stretch on the hip flexors. And a little just strengthening through the core. Bring a bend to the knee. Bring knee towards right wrist. Send it back out. Lift the leg as high as you want. Bring knee to wrist. Send it back out. Last little tap here. Bring it in. Setting it nice and tall. Exhale, bring that right knee down. Take that gentle sway from side to side. It just gets into the hip flexors. Gets into the IT band. If you really actively push the hip out, that's when you start to get into those IT bands. Excellent. Come back to that stillness. You can take a little moment, shake out the wrists if the wrists are getting sore. And I know this is the position, this angle is pretty big. Like if you got that full almost 90 degrees happening, we don't often hang out like that. So if it's sore on the wrists, that's okay. Shake it out, you'll feel better. And send those left toes back. Roll that left hip down. Just starting to get into the left foot, left ankle. Again, always that choice to just bend through the left knee so that you don't have movement through the right knee. However you need to pulse it, you pulse it. I'm craving just a little more of a wrist stretch here. So as I'm pulsing it, I'm going to start to just bring my fingertips more the direction of my knees. So I'm going to it adds a lot of intensity, so just be aware of that. And then as I'm pulsing, getting my foot back, I'm getting a little extra stretch through my forearms. I haven't done this one for a little while, so we'll just add it in here. If that's too intense, even if you do fingers out to the side edges of your mat and add the rock from left to right, that'll do one and then the other, and then you can choose your depth for how far you lean. That's not really intuitive for our back and forth motion of the ankle, so your choice, play around with it. I'm gonna come forward, rolling right over my toes. Now I have the shoelace side of my left foot pointing down. Just adding a little stretch in there. Just kind of actively pressing the top of the foot in and releasing so it doesn't look like I'm doing much. And keep the little pulse going if you feel more that way. I'm going to roll over the toes a couple of times. Beautiful. I'm going to release my wrists, giving one a little shake. And the other one, a little shake, coming out of that nice and slow. Take a nice inhale breath, lengthen through the crown of the head, getting nice and tall. Exhale, let's start to float that left foot up. I'm trying to keep toes pointing down here. Your choice, we're just going to lift. Come a little bit more forward and not kick the heel squares. Kicking the leg up. So you can really open up through that hip. Or you can try to keep those hips squared down, lifting through the leg. Coming up nice and tall. Keep pressing into those hands though. Don't just bow down to get the leg higher. Bring the foot down. Give the toe a little tap. Send that leg all the way back up. Kicking it up nice and tall. So strong. And exhale. Lower it down. Take one more. Kick it up. Bring the toes down. Bring knee. Start to sweep it through all the way towards that left wrist, left elbow, even left shoulder. If you'd like, kick it back out. Bring it forward. Excellent. So good. One more nice little kick. Elbow towards knee or wrist. There we go. Find your stillness. Bring that knee back down and add that nice little sway from side to side. Maybe shake out the wrists. They got lots of intensity. And there's something called gorilla arms where you really just make a fist and you're pressing your fists in. That's a great little break for the wrists as well. Excellent. So good. So nice. All right, let's find that stillness. Let's bring the knees a little bit wider. Pushing back, taking your little child's pose, working on sitting back onto the ankles. There obviously doesn't have to be connection, so if you're up significantly higher, that is a-okay. Other option is that puppy pose of just hanging out with hips over knees, walking the hands forward. You'll get a little more back bend, a little more stretch through the back, whereas in your child's pose, it's a little bit more about releasing into that low back, into the hips. Taking a little moment for a nice little sip of coffee. So we've warmed up through the arms, through the legs and the body. This is where we start to transition into the slower, slightly more restorative style or yin style of our practice. And there is a difference between yin and restorative. Officially, think of it as like yin and yang. Yang is that active side of yoga where you're moving and grooving, getting into your pace, whereas the yin side is where you have that slow and stillness. So I feel like it's a great way to look at it. And then in the official yin practice, yin is actually an advanced, in my opinion, an advanced practice. Because the difference between yin and restorative, a lot of the times the poses look the same, but in restorative it's all about getting as comfy as possible. You're really trying to relax into it. You're getting a bit of a stretch. You're finding openness. And you're welcome to move and adjust however you need to explore that range of comfort. Whereas yin, you start off, and I always suggest people start off at like 40 or 50% of what they think they can normally do. So even in child's pose, and start up a little longer or a little higher because we're going to be holding it for more time. And in yin, you're always questioning that need to fidget and move. Is that just an emotional trigger that might be happening as you start to release? Because we actually store our emotions in our body. It's the most crazy thing. But if something like, even if dogs can sense emotion from another room, then there obviously has to be some kind of chemical reaction, some kind of hormone reaction happening in our bodies. And so our body is producing that kind of stuff, which means it can also store that kind of stuff. So in that yin, it's that, are you trying to work through and process those things through holding poses and movements? So you might not even remember or have like a visual memory of anything. You might just all of a sudden get angry, burst into tears, or just be neutral and you just feel that little subtleties, those little shifts from within. So it gets a little deeper in your yin, gets a little more wild and crazy, but you're holding that stillness so it doesn't really look like you're going that much deeper, but I promise you are. So that's what that's at. So in this nice child's pose, or even in that puppy pose that you're holding, I want to add a little side bend in, just getting a little more into the arms, into the rib cage. So simply just start to walk your hands over towards one side. Totally your choice. You can choose the depth. And then as you kind of keep that head drop down and in, start to relax through the arms. You'll start to feel that pull through that outer arm, all the way through maybe the arm, the shoulders, ideally into the rib cage and into the torso as well. Maybe all the way to the hip, but you probably really kind of feel it in that underarm or that side arm area where the torso becomes, right in here, the torso becomes the arm, kind of targets there. So we'll take 3 to 5 more full breaths here. I'll start to chat a little bit less and let you focus in and process some of your own thoughts, taking control, Trying to embrace a little stillness and silence. Beautiful. Taking another nice full inhale. Complete exhale. Letting the movement be the first movement your body takes to slowly start to release. Then you can start to walk those hands back to center. And then keep going all the way through towards the other side. And getting that nice side stretch on the other side. Make sure you're trying to drop that head down, or you can even, rest the head on the arm if you need a little pillow. Or use a little block, pressing into that third eye zone. Feeling that nice stretch and openness. Adjusting the hands as you need. Keep trying to reach and try to find that softness. Taking another full round of breath. Nice big inhale. And exhale, let it go. Nice and slowly working your way back towards center. Taking one full inhale here. And exhale, nice and slowly. Maybe walk the hands in a little bit more. Start to press in. And come on up. You'll feel that little tingle sensation maybe through the hips. That was a decently long hold. Start to just make your way onto your front body, lowering down, coming all the way down. We'll take a little moment in a little front shavasana. So if you want to stack palm over palm, making a little pillow for your forehead, or turning that cheek to the side. Start to settle in. This is just a little rebound, which we don't necessarily do in every restorative class, but you'll do in every yin class between the poses. It kind of lets the blood flow, the energy return to normal. It's usually a nice neutral position, either laying on front body or back body. I've even done a couple seated. Reclining back a little bit. So if you are feeling any sensation through the hips, through the knees, that is totally normal. Let's just give some time for that. It can last up to 30 seconds. So I always try to take a few breaths here to kind of hit that reset button on the body. Starting to notice and feel into that difference. Let's take one more nice big inhale. Exhale, soften. And then start to press yourself up. And bringing the shoulders and the elbows in line. So just tucking the elbows underneath. Bring the palms facing down. Roll those shoulder blades back and down. Extending the ears farther away from the shoulders. Finding that bit of length. You'll start to feel that nice little back bend starting to happen. Press into the pelvis. So press that pelvis down. I just did a little scooch backwards. If you have any little extra, you want to feel that pelvis, just shift around and try to find that connection point the best that you can. Taking a little moment here. Feet can go a little wider as well. Sometimes that helps release some tension in the low back. If you are from a strict yoga background, the traditional way of teaching this was actually big toes at touch, legs nice and straight, which really, for women, if you have that wider pelvis or externally rotated hips, feels terrible on your low back. If you tried it with me, I am feeling this in all the wrong ways. These are not the feels I want to feel. So bringing your feet out a little bit wider honors the fact that you might have, a woman's body. Yoga was developed in India, like thousands of years ago, it feels like, and it was only allowed to be practiced on men. So it was like a golf style situation. Guys only. So old Indian bodies is what it was designed for, and that's where some of that cueing comes from. And so as we learn more about the body, something as simple as bringing the feet a little bit farther apart seems so intuitive to us, but used to be really heavily corrected and frowned upon. Which I have some thoughts about that, and since I've called it real person yoga, I'd rather you do movement that works best for your body. And so this is my way of adapting and moving forward, being a little more inclusive and working with that. So just a nice little back bend. Back bends are often known as energizing. And getting into that back line, getting into the spine. Keep seeing if you can find some more length through it. So you do have that option to really kind of settle in. Maybe you even want to hold the head, either holding under the chin or on the forehead. That's a great little option if you want more of that restorative, if you want more of that yin style. And trying to keep your hands down and extending the head nice and tall and keeping all of that length through the spine. So your choice. Try not to teach too much of one or the other. You can do both. You can have a yin restorative class. It's trickier, but you can do it. Taking another 2 or 3 breaths here. Starting to let that breath be your anchor point. If the mind is really busy and all you think of is your tasks, or if you have that need to fidget and move, just focus in on that breath. Notice that inhale. Notice, are you just breathing into the top part of your lungs? Can you start to just breathe a little deeper, whatever that looks like? Then on that exhale, maybe start to really feel that relaxing sensation, that melting down. Notice in this pose, are you clenching in the glutes? That might be a sign that you're a little bit too high up. Pose might be getting a little too intense. Or you just simply have tension there. Let's take our last inhale, breathing in nice and big. And exhale. Let's start to lower down, going nice and slow. Maybe going on to the opposite cheek if you picked a cheek, where you can stack hand over hand. Lowering the body all the way down. You're gonna add a little bend to the knees and windshield wiper, just dropping the feet from side to side. For some, that helps relieve tension in the low back. A little bit of movement, so if you're craving that little movement, if the stillness is driving you crazy, but then let's embrace that stillness. Lower the feet back down. You take your 3 to 5 breaths here. Nice little inhales and exhales. Feeling into that low back. Feeling into maybe the hips. Beautiful. Let's take our last inhale and exhale in this little mini shavasana. Let's add in a nice shoulder stretch. This is why we warmed up the shoulders so much at the beginning with all those inhales and exhales. And I'm going to start with my right hand so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to reach my right hand out. My gaze is going to go to the left, so the opposite of whatever way you're reaching. Gaze goes that way. So this, right off the bat, if this is too much on that shoulder, you want to bring the hand closer in towards the body. The closer in you bring the hand, the more gentle this will be. The higher up you bring the hand, the more intensive. Or if you start to come into cactus, it'll add more intensity as well. So if you have that bend at the elbow, working on that 90 degrees. So your choice. So start at something that you think would be way too easy. So starting there, gaze is going opposite direction. And then you're starting to roll onto that right hip or whatever hip of that leg is extended. You can use your left hand to press in. You'll start to feel that stretch through the shoulder. Left hand can hang out on the ground. You can tuck it behind the back. I never know how far people are rolling over and bending. If you're nicely tucked in on the side, you can add a little quad stretch in, bending through that top knee. Maybe just even planting it in behind you. Or you can reach for the ankle, getting a little extra in on that quad. So your choice. You don't have to add the leg in. The goal of this one is the shoulder stretch. If you are adding in that quad stretch, you'll feel it a little more if you actively kind of pull that knee back behind you and add that resistance in. So as much as you're trying to pull the knee down, you're trying to stop any movement from happening as well. Letting that open up a little through the hip, getting it through the knee, and tons through the quad. So good. I'm going to release my ankle mostly because I want to focus in on that shoulder. Taking another 2 or 3 breaths here. Nice inhale and exhale. Noticing if you're squeezing through anywhere in the body that maybe you don't need to, can you add that softness in? Your final breath in this pose, nice big inhale. And on that exhale, let's slowly, very slowly start to release. Rolling back onto that front body. You can bring that hand in, take that little moment or two. That one you can also do against a wall. Going face against a wall, extending an arm and then rolling. This one you can really choose that intensity with the body weight added in. Here, if you want to bend the knees and windshield wiper. And bring the legs back down. And getting ready to come into the other side. So for me, it's my left arm extending. Nice and long. Right hand just kind of hangs out underneath the shoulder. Take a moment and adjust. Start to just feel that shoulder, that arm melting in. Ideally, there's entirety of connection of the arm with the ground. So wherever you need to move and adjust to feel that. And then you can start to roll over, adding some weight into that side. Feeling that nice stretch on the shoulder. So even if you're here, like even if you want to like have your knee out like this is a great option. Like you don't have to roll all the way onto your side. I did a good amount of shoulder openers in my class last night. I'm feeling pretty good here. I'm gonna add in a little quad stretch. And connecting in with that breath. Maybe even remembering your intention from the beginning of class. Just taking a little moment and honoring it. Drawing it to memory. Trying to apply it. And taking those 2 or 3 more breaths here. Starting to add that extra bit of softness in. Noticing if anything is squeezing, where that tension's at. Release my quad. Trying not to slingshot the foot, just that nice release. Nice big breath in, breathing in as much as you can. Exhale nice and slow. Let it go. And then starting to roll onto that front body, releasing that shoulder so slowly. Maybe bring it alongside the body, bringing hands down. On your next breath, and start to bring those arms up overhead. It's like a reverse good morning stretch. Just reaching forward, have your palms down. Maybe you add that little pull sensation, reaching your hands as far as possible, then just kind of pulling the body. You can tuck that chin in, just getting a nice stretch. Maybe you kick through the toes and feet come off the ground ever so slightly. Just a nice giant stretch here. Getting into shoulders, getting into hips, getting into legs and arms. And exhale and melt it back in. Just bring those hands under the shoulders, tuck those toes under, and start to press up. Keep the knees together, taking just a little child's pose. Yes, you'll probably be a little higher up. This is a great way just to release that low back, is doing this with the knees together. You have a little more rounding happening, feels really good. It's a great counter stretch to that cobra, to that back bend. If you want, you can even bring the hands back behind you, maybe even reaching for the heels. And release, starting to come back up, and we'll come forward and spinning around onto our backs. Try not to take too much extra movement. Or maybe you do sneak that sip of coffee. Roll on back and down. Excellent. Bend the knees and plant the feet. Roll those shoulder blades back and down. Start to feel some of that space. Take a nice inhale breath, get nice and tall. Exhale, just gently draw the belly button in. Notice a little tuck of the tailbone that happens as you try to push that low back down into the mat. Take another inhale breath, and on that exhale, just real gently, maybe like 20 or 30%. You're just coming up into a little bridge pose. Just trying to feel some activation into the legs, maybe finding some openness through that front line of the body. We spent a good amount of time laying on our stomachs, laying on our front. So now we'll find some openness. So the higher up you press your hips, the more openness you will find. But the goal of this is not really to be super duper active. It's not strength building. It's looking for that open sensation through the collarbone, through the legs. And then let's roll down nice and slow. Coming down vertebrae by vertebrae, feeling that nice little massage. Elisa, if you're out there doing the rewatch, it'd be great to have you with me. Drop me a little comment. I just wish I could meet everyone. I got to meet Doreen this weekend. That was a blast. Oh, I'm sad we didn't actually get to do yoga together. I am looking forward to doing yoga in person with you. All right, let's bring that left knee in towards the body. Give it a nice little squeeze. And start to send that right leg long. And take that nice inhale breath. Get a little taller. Exhale. Relax or release. Donna, I don't remember the last time we actually did yoga in person together. Was it at the church? I don't know if we have. No, I feel like I have seen you do yoga. It's clearly been so long we need to do it again. So send you a message about that later. Have some thoughts. Trying to relax through the shoulders here. Just letting this be a nice little hip stretch, nice little hip opener. This pose is known as half wind reliever pose. So, there's that. Just that drawing the knee in towards the body. Even one more nice big inhale. See if you can get a little taller. Exhale. See if you can find a little more softness, maybe a little more depth. Maybe it might not even be noticeable. Maybe just ever so slightly feel that extra bit of pull and stretch, and it feels good. And start to release that left leg, planting that foot down. Bringing that right knee in towards the body. And giving it a nice big hug and a squeeze. Drawing it in as much as you want and can. If you want a little more, you can start to extend that left leg, extending it nice and long. Trying to relax through those shoulders. Just taking a few breaths here. And taking another breath or two here, working with that inhale, that exhale. Maybe you soften, maybe you add that extra little millimeter or two in. And taking one more nice inhale, and that exhale. Starting to release that right foot, just simply planting the foot down first. Letting that spine relax, and then sending the leg long. You take that nice good morning stretch, reaching those arms up overhead. Feeling maybe that arch through the spine, reaching so nice and tall, letting it feel good. Exhale, release. Hugging the knees in towards the chest. Take that little rock from side to side. Give that low back a nice little massage here. You can just keep little movements, or you can do real big movements if you want to get more into the sides of the hips as well. Beautiful. I just want to add in one more twist just because it's so good. If you have a favorite twist, you're welcome to do your favorite twist. I'm a big fan of just hanging out like this, bringing the arms open and dropping the legs towards your favorite side. I'm going to go left because it's easier for you guys to see all my modifications. Trying to keep both shoulders planted in towards the ground. But if that one shoulder is really lifting up, just bring your head a little bit closer in towards the body. That just helps the angle of the arm and the shoulder and the torso just be nice and gentle on that shoulder. So option to hang out here. You can use the block underneath or a pillow underneath the knees, in between the knees. Those feel really great. And if you want to play around a little more, you can work on extending the legs, coming into that L shape with your body. And even if they don't go perfectly straight, you can still keep a gentle bend but still extend them. The more you roll onto that one hip, that bottom hip, for me that left hip, the more rotation you're getting through the spine. Maybe even bring that left hand on top of the legs, not to yank or crank The legs are hip down, but just that weight might add that extra little bit of depth. Gaze can go opposite the legs to include the neck in the twist, so you're fully rotating right from tailbone all the way to the skull. Connect in, take that nice inhale. Exhale, release. And take another breath, breathe again. Softening. Let's start to release nice and slow. Head comes back towards neutral, arms reach out. And then you start to bring the legs up. Maybe you just walk the feet over and drop them down on the other side. Feeling that sweet spot for you where the twist feels the best. And trying to keep those shoulders in or bring that arm down. Oh, hi, puppy dog. You just stay right out of the line of the camera, hey? She's cute. Nice big inhale, breathing it in. Maybe you're rolling over just a touch more. Maybe you bring that hand on. Exhale, see if you can soften, just kind of melt into this nice little twist. One more nice breath in, breathing in, getting maybe a little taller. And exhale, start to turn the head to neutral. Release the arms. And swing those knees back up. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you reach on through for the feet. Coming into that nice little happy baby. Make sure you get your head and your shoulders back down. Sending the feet up into the air, knees draw in towards the body. You can take a little rock from side to side. You can extend your legs long. Getting more into the hamstrings, totally your choice. And now is the freestyle portion of the class. So if there's another pose or movement you want to play around with, by all means, get creative. Or if you're just ready for that Shavasana, that feels good too. I do a little bit of a shorter Shavasana on these Yin Yang ones, just because we get all those little mini Shavasanas between some of the poses. Although ultimately it's always your choice. You're at home. You can just hang out in your Shavasana for as long as you need to. Just about embracing some of that stillness. Letting the body settle. Giving your body some time to reset and heal. In your Shavasana, your knees can be bent, your feet planted, just hanging out like this. Legs can be extended long. Wherever you're at though, see if you can roll those shoulders back and down, keeping all that openness through the collarbone, through that heart center. Beautiful. I'm going to roll up to seated just so I can chat and stay focused as you guys enjoy. Start to connect in with that breath. Let's take 3 full inhales and exhales together. Breathing in, nice and deep, big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Nice inhale, breath, breathing in. Exhale, release. Big inhale, one more. And let it go. You can continue taking those big inhales and exhales. As you breathe really big like that, you might notice things get a little sparkly. That's normal. Option to stop that breath technique or take a little sip of water. I encourage you to take all the time you do need here. This is where I'll leave you. Maybe you want to scan through that body, starting to become aware of the difference. So working on that ability to notice the difference before and after some movement and some stretching where it feels really good. Take that time as you need it. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Happy Monday, or whenever you're rewatching this. I pray that you find joy through every moment and that you are always blessed. Thank you and namaste. Excellent. My dog said she was done. She just got up and walked away. So nice. Okay. Bye, guys.